What's up, fam? Mainman Mademan here. Y'all know how I get down. We talking boxing, man. Salute to the fam. Salute to everybody in Mainman Mademan's boxing forum over there on Facebook. The thing is this, man. I'm looking at Bob Arum quotes. He just had a recent interview done over there on Boxing Social, in which Bob Arum now has some quotes floating around out here in the public. According to Bob Arum, when it comes down to Terence Crawford and his next opponents, well, Bob Arum is telling Boxing Social that Terence Crawford will be returning sometime closer to the fall with spectators, and they're still pretty much searching for an opponent for Terence Crawford. Of course, there's some names floating around that could be possibilities, with like the winner of the Josh Taylor versus Jose Ramirez fight, which that will be an undisputed champion, and the undisputed champion at 140 taking on the last undisputed champion at 140 in Terence Crawford. Very marketable fight. But however, in that situation, you got to also keep in mind that the winner of that fight is going to be automatically ordered to go off and face Jack Catterall, who is sitting back waiting for his mandatory shot. So that'll be a thing that have to arise pretty much before the Terence Crawford situation, given he's waiting in the wings. Now, something maybe can be worked out where he steps aside or something to that effect, and maybe so. I wouldn't, be surprised if that happens. But the fact is, as of now, we know Jack Catterall is waiting for his opportunity. Not to mention, we heard a lot of talk from Teofimo Lopez possibly moving up to 140 pounds. If Teofimo Lopez decides to move up to 140 pounds and he's considered an undisputed champion at 135, well, you'll have the two supposed undisputed champions at 140 and 135 going head to head. And according to Jose Ramirez, he's very interested in a fight with Teofimo Lopez. Josh Taylor kind of plays with it in the public, likes to mess around with Teofimo Lopez, saying that he's not an undisputed champion. But he's also made it noted that if it's economically worth his time, as far as the money, then he's willing to stay there and face Teofimo Lopez as well. Also, we got Gervonta Tank Davis just moving up at 140 pounds. Well, he'll be a lucrative fight for one of them as well. So the way I'm looking at it, that even though that maybe Bob Arum is and talk out there that maybe that Crawford can get the winner of Jose Ramirez and Josh Taylor, there's a lot of other avenues that can get in the middle of that and can prevent that fight. So we just got to wait and see. But other than that, man, there's no really other names kind of floating out there, certainty for Terence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? A lot of Terence Crawford fans are sitting back waiting to see who his next fight is going to be. Now, for Bob Arum to push this closer to the fall, we already know that there's news out there that Terence Crawford is pretty much owes Top Rank one last fight. And when you think about the timing of all of this, that Terence Crawford has to give one last fight to Top Rank. Not to mention that Terence Crawford has not fought a mandatory fight now in about 18 months. So he hasn't fought a mandatory fight since December of 2019. So a mandatory challenge is going to be coming forward soon for his WBO title. You got to wonder, is all of this going to come around at the same time? And if that goes down the line and it becomes a mandatory situation for Terence Crawford, well, in the #1 position, we got Virgil Ortiz. It'll start to possibly go down the line. The #2 guy, Sean Porter. The #3 guy, Mikey Garcia. The #4 guy, so on and so forth, So, it may come down to Terence Crawford's mandatory situation, which he's going to have to fight possibly a mandatory. And if that happens, well, there's a lot of good names in the WBO rankings, at least as of today. From the first 5 or 6 names, all of those will be pretty decent fights for Terence Crawford. I know that Custio Clayton's in there. We got Jerron Boots Ennis in there, Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter, like I said, Virgil Ortiz, Aegis Kalvalauskas is still in there. So, whichever way it goes as far as his WBO mandatory, those are all decent fights, especially good stay busy fights if we're still going to continue to go towards the big fight with Errol Spence Jr. So those are still good stay busy fights, and we'll see which way it goes. But those are all possibilities for Terence Crawford. Also, it's also well-known news out there that Terence Crawford's deal with Top Rank could possibly be coming to an end in October. Now, I have been warning the Terence Crawford fans that you got to be mindful of the fact that it may be a little bit hard for Terence Crawford to leave Top Rank and then maybe go to PBC or any other promoter as long as he remains the WBO champion. We have news in the past that Mikey Garcia, a fighter who was once under Top Rank, well, the reason it was so hard for him to get out of his situation was the fact that he had a world title. And as long as he had a world title and Top Rank made him a world champion, he was pretty much a Top Rank fighter. it remains to be seen if this is the case with Terence Crawford. But if it does come down to that and Terence Crawford is stuck, then we just got to be willing to accept that, I guess, fans. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I know a lot of fans wish that he goes over to Premier Boxing Champions and maybe make the other fights a lot more easier with Shawn Porter, Keith Thurman, Manny Garcia, and Errol Spence Jr. But it is what it is. I mean, if he's in a situation where it's hard for him to get out as a champion, maybe he wants to keep his belt that he worked so hard to get. And, you know, maybe he doesn't want to just throw his belt away or risk leaving his belt or risk into a legal situation with his promoter, keeping him on the shelf, possibly during the prime years of his career. It's a hell of a decision to make, and we'll see what the decision is from Terence Crawford. And if you're a Terence Crawford fan, well, you're just going to have to back him which way he goes and hope that the big fights can still be made. Hell, we see Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder happening, and they on two opposite sides of the boxing world. So we'll see where it go. You know what I'm saying? If it can happen for them, I'm sure it can happen for something just as big as Errol Spence and Terence Crawford that can technically become the biggest fight in boxing. You did all day. So thumbs up for the homie on the way out if he didn't hit it on the way in. It still remains to be seen who the lucky contestant is going to be. Bob Arum saying that Terence Crawford is going to be pushed down closer to the fall. I know a lot of also boxing fans were hoping to see Terence Crawford come out this summer when the Pacquiao news fell through. So I was hoping that at least if we couldn't got Manny Pacquiao in the summer, that he would at least come back to somebody else by the summertime. But, you know, things are going on behind the scenes that's out of the purview of a boxing fan. You know what I'm saying? And we just got to wait and see how this all come together. Thumbs up for the homie, man. I catch up with y'all real soon. We hoping to see Terence Crawford back in the ring real soon. You know what I'm saying? To come on back, continue his reign as a pound-for-pound champion, and to continue to show boxing fans who he is, who he say he is. Much love to the family, and I see y'all soon to the next video. Peace out.